Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody is, hanging in there and almost fully recovered from the holidays and whatnot, and ready for spring like I am. I tell you, uh, the winter blues have definitely feeling it this year, so I'm ready for some more daylight hours. Okay, so this is new to me to do a pages I have colored review. So this is a new channel for me, so I think my first video I put up here was maybe January, but so I'm going to do my finished pages from January and February combined together. And some of these pages you might have seen if you watched my introduction video, but I'm just gonna go for it. So I don't keep track of what I've done or what my plans are, or how many books I've colored in or anything like that. I'm just not much of a planner in that regard. I just pull books and look through them and color what I feel like coloring. Sometimes I feel like using pencils, and so then I look for something that I know will work with pencils, and that kind of thing. So it just depends on what strikes my fancy, so to speak. So anyway, so this book, Johanna Basford's Small Victories, lots of people are having lots of fun with this book, including myself. And so this is, I think, I don't want to make any commitments, but I'm feeling like this book is going to be sort of like a project book for me. And I just come to it whenever I just, don't really know what I want to do. And so then I just kind of prepare some pages, or, play around or whatever. Anyway, so I really only have one page in here that I finished in January or February. And it's this one with all the little fruit, small little fruit images. So basically I hope this is close enough, because I'm filming with my phone and it's really hard to zoom in exactly, just a little bit. So anyway, I hope this is going to work. So I took a circle stencil, those just with all the circles, and just penciled a circle around each one of the fruits, and did the background with an acrylic marker, and then did a different color, just a light wash of watercolor over the entire image in each circle, and then went back in with pencil and added some more color and whatnot. So just did each little fruit kind of in the same colors as the background. So anyway, so yeah, so that one, Small Victories. And then this one is Escape to Oz, illustrated by Good Wives and Warriors. And these guys, this is such an amazing group of illustrators. I don't know how many people it actually is. I've seen photos. I think it's just maybe a couple of people, but anyway, they do some pretty amazing stuff. So this page is all I've done in this book. This side, and maybe up to about here on this double page, I did maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. I don't know. I don't remember, but a long time ago. And so I just finished the page and finished it off, and then came back and added some details over on this side too. So 95% colored pencil, and I can't really tell you what specific brand of colored pencil I used, but I will tell you that I use a combination of all of my pencils. I don't stick to one set. of pencil when I'm coloring. I have all my pencils sorted by color. And yeah, since I don't really do reviews of pencils and that kind of thing, I just have them all together by color family. And I know that they all have different properties, different characteristics, and so I sort of know what those are, and I just, work through that as I'm working. And, I have the same color basically represented in different lines of pencil. So, like I know when to use a Prismacolor, I know when to use, a luminance pencil and that kind of thing. So yeah, anyway, and I don't keep pencils that I don't like. I only keep pencils that I like and that I will use, and I really don't buy that many colored pencils. I have been guilty of buying some sets that I was really unhappy with and regret buying. So anyway, and those I usually just give to my grandkids or something like that. Anyway, so I finished this page, and it's mostly colored pencil. Some of the details, like some of the metallic details, are done with the super golden markers. So anyway, so that page. And then, so I've seen some flip throughs of Olga Golubeshkina's coloring books, and I went on Amazon and was just looking at them like, oh my god, I want every single one of them. But I reined it in, and I just bought one, and I bought one of the small ones, just to try it out. And I love the images in here. They're just so cute and so quirky and fun and easy. They just seem very easy to me, even though they are quite detailed, but some of them are quite detailed. But it's Amazon print, and so I just have a really hard time with it. But yeah, it's like super, super thin. Anyway, anybody who's into coloring understands. But anyway, so I did this page, and really I was just playing around with the sort of pen to pen blending method that I have sort of rediscovered recently. And so I did this page with that method, and then I just, it's all water-based marker. It's the Clean Color real brush markers. Yeah, completely. And then the background is Neocolor 2, and it's not great, I know, but I wanted to just scribble it on the paper and then just blend it out and see how it worked with this paper. So that was the main reason that I used the Neocolor 2 on here, because it was kind of just playing. And yeah, so I did get some bleed through, but I used quite a bit of water. So, but also my water-based markers bled through a little bit too. So yeah, anyway, but luckily they're single-sided, and so that's good. Anyway, so I finished one page in there, and I actually have ordered another one of her books, one of the larger ones. I think I ordered the Mounts 2 one, because it has a dragon on the cover. Anyway, so I've had this book for a really long time, and I've never finished a page in it. I've started a few pages, but never really, I don't know why, but I don't know. Most of the pages that I have started in here are either Inktense or Neocolor 2, but I've never finished a page in here until I did this one, and I was looking for a page in a coloring book that had just like single large flowers that I could play around with coloring using pan pastels. So that's what I did on these. They're all using pan pastel, and then just shaded with pencil. And then I just was playing around, and thought, well, I might as well try to do some kind of background. And sometimes I really love doing really detailed things. Sort of, I don't know. It's like I love doing things that are very monotonous. You know, I don't know. It's like a Zen thing. And I think that's why I like crocheting so much, because it's just so repetitive and, you know. Anyway, so I did the background with acrylic ink. And then, yeah, and I did spray it with workable fixative. So, yeah, so I did that page. And then Daydreams, Hanna Karlzon. This is another book that I feel like is probably going to be a project book. And I actually have 2 copies of it that I've worked in quite a bit. And so there's pages in this copy that I still work on, and then pages in this book that I still work on. And I don't really understand why I have 2 copies of it, but I think it's because I messed up something in one of them, and I don't know, just wanted another one. So anyway, so whenever I get all of the pages colored in, you know, without duplicating pages, I'm going to disassemble the books and then put them back together and rebind them into one of these covers. So that's my plan. Anyway, so what have I finished in here in January or February? So this one was a whip. Started a long time ago. When I say long time ago, it could be 5 years ago. It could be 9, 10 years ago. I don't remember. But I know I had done most of the background with ink tints. So then I came back in sometime in January or February and finished these jellyfish with primarily metallic or iridescent watercolor and some super golden marker, some gel pens, some pencil here and there, and yeah, did I say gel pen? So yeah, anyway, so I finished the jellyfish. And I actually did finish the peacock, I think in January, but all I did was add the background. I had done the whole peacock years ago, so I'm not really counting it, but I did actually finish it in January. So anyway, and then this is another one that was a whip. One day I just picked up a pencil and just started kind of playing around with shading on the flowers, and then wound up just finishing the page. So mostly pencil. There's some gel pen highlights. I used a glaze pen on these guys. I think these are supposed to be bachelor buttons, but, and then I did the bees, added some just like a kind of a glittery watercolor over the wings of the bees. Yeah, so finished that guy. And then this one, start to finish in January. Yeah, January. So it's basically a watercolor in the background, and then I came in and did a flat wash of watercolor over each of the birds, and then came back with pencil and did all of the shading and the, you know, added different variations of a similar color in pencil, and then on top of that, super golden marker, details, and also some gel pen. So I think I did use a Posca pen for the highlights in their eyes. But yeah, and I did fix this page with a workable fixative, so I don't keep anything, you know, in between the pages. And then in Tales from the City Among the Stars, this was a new to me book in January, so I loved it. I just like went, oh my god, I love this. I love this book. Anyway, so I did like 5 or 6 pages in here. So I did this girl with her dragon, and based in watercolor, the background is pan pastel, color pencil highlight shading, and then I can't remember what I used on his mane and her hair, but whatever it was, it bled through. And I think it's because I don't remember what it was. It could have just been the water-based marker, but I've never had it bleed through on anything else, so I don't really know what happened. I don't know why that happened, but yeah. So this guy, this page, this gal, I should say, and then this was actually the first page that I did in this book, and I just loved it. But I wanted it to be kind of like a little town that is just coming out of winter, and so everything is kind of muddy, and like the buildings are kind of dirty and grungy from just having, 6 months of cold weather and snow and, rain. And anyway, I wanted it to be kind of grungy. And so and that's kind of the feeling I get from this whole book, is that it's sort of vintage vibes, sort of grungy and a little bit dark. So anyway, so did all of the houses, the buildings are all based in watercolor, and obviously, I love color, and so I tried to make each building a different color without duplicating a color, and anyway, I just love colors. So, and then obviously did pencil for, the details and that kind of thing. There's some gel pen. I did glaze pen in all the windows, and super golden marker for some of the metallic highlights. Yeah. And this page is also fixed with, I used the the Krylon workable fixative. This guy, pan pastel background, pretty much only colored pencil with some super golden marker. I think I had just gotten those pens, so I was just really enjoying playing with them a lot. Super golden marker details. I did use a Wink of Stella in these stars here, but I really regret doing that because there's some kind of solvent in the Wink of Stella, ink or whatever, and it kind of dissolves pencil a little bit. So what happened was I was trying to just put a clear, kind of glittery coating over the stars, but it wound up actually dissolving the pencil and mixing together, and it just turned out yucky. So anyway, not very happy with it, but I didn't feel like dealing with it anymore, so I just called it finished. Anyway, and then this was actually the second page that I did in here, and so this is also based in watercolor. These are watercolors that I've actually mixed up myself using some watercolor that I have in tubes, and then blended with a little bit of liquid graphite, and that gives me basically a graphitent sort of paint. And but I'm not, you're not limited to the colors that they sell. You can make any color mixed with graphite and get that kind of toned down graphite sort of feeling. Anyway, so I did that with, with all of these, and I don't really think I did much in the way of shading. Any of the shading done on their clothing, I actually did with the paint. It kind of almost turns it into a gouache, sort of. So anyway, I want to play around with gouache in my coloring books a little bit more. I haven't really done that very much, but I have used it a little bit, but I'd really like to try to do like a whole page with just gouache. So anyway, yeah, and then the same stuff, basically, metallic watercolor. So I finished the characters, or the, the people and the, little robots or whatever. And then a couple weeks later, I came back and did just the ground and the sky. I just knew that they needed something, so I just did something very, very simple. Just did like a little bit of a wash. Anyway, there were a couple of spots that got sort of messed up for one reason or another. So they kind of, I don't know, they got a little grungy, like in his hair and over here, but no big deal. Anyway, but I love the grandpa, and I had so much fun doing his hair and his beard and stuff. It's got like a metallic marker and even some fine liner, and anyway, I just really had fun with him. And then this page, I know that it's probably not going to come across extremely well on camera, but let me put something under here just to bring it a little bit closer. So I started out just doing the car, and I wanted to do it like really like grungy, like, you know, steampunky, and using like warm grays. And so that's what I used. Mostly Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencil. And then I thought, okay, but he's up in the sky, but I wanted it to be like nighttime sky. And so I was thinking about maybe just adding a moon and some clouds, and then, I don't know, I just didn't like that idea. And I struggled with how these windows are open. Like this window and the back window are both open. But these two windows were closed, but you could see his hair. I don't know. It was just kind of weird. There was things about it that were just weird. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to pretend like the moon is behind the car. So I tried to create this like glow that would look like it's coming from behind the car. So I pulled out my pan pastels, and I was just trying to do like this nighttime thing, but then it turned into like a cloudy nighttime thing, and that he was just driving through the clouds. So he's kind of just, you know, driving along through the clouds, and it's kind of like stormy. But anyway, it's hard to explain, but the sky got a little bit darker than I wanted it to. But that's okay. So I wound up coming back with a black Posca, super, super fine tip Posca, and outlined everything. And that sort of helped bring it back from sort of fading into the night sky, okay? I did use cool grays for the sky, and I used warm grays in the car. So I'm kind of hoping that that comes across. It's better in person, honestly. Like, I don't know. Anyway, and I left a lot of the pencil lines, like you can see the paper coming through the pencil, and I left that intentionally because I just wanted that texture there for the car. Anyway, and so then it's like, well, what is he doing? I had left this stuff, the exhaust, white, basically. And then all of a sudden I went, oh, what is he doing? He's spreading rainbows. And so then I just did a rainbow coming out of all of the exhaust. Added this, or, you know, then colored the stars gold. And then when it came to his clothing, well, he's like the rainbow spreader guy. So I just did his sweatshirt kind of in rainbow colors. So yeah. He's spreading the love. Anyway, so there's that one. And then Shooting Star, actually purchased this in January, and I just loved it. Like, loved it. Way more than the other Maria Trolli book that I have. So this was, I think this was the second or third page I did, but yeah, so mostly colored pencil, and then I did water-based marker over the pencil to sort of eliminate any white line or anything from white from the paper. And that's actually a pretty good way to do that with colored pencil, is to just go over it with like a water base, like a Tombow or a clean color or something like that. So anyway, so did the sky with, I did basically everything with pencil, except for I think I used an acrylic marker on the light from the lighthouse, and then a metallic acrylic pen around the border. So on the stars, I just did them with white Posca and then sort of haloed each one of the stars with a glitter gel pen with a jelly roll. But then on the round stars and then on the star-shaped stars, I tried the Winkostella and it actually like came through. So I don't know about that Winkostella. Maybe my Winkostella pens are just old, and I mean I've had them for quite a while. So I don't know. Has anybody else had that problem with Winkostella where they kind of bleed through like badly? Anyway, let me take these off. I don't really like to leave these on my pages because they do over time leave a little bit of gunk on the page. Anyway, so this one, pencil, some, this is done with just metallic watercolor, the little deer, some super golden marker in the sun. I don't remember what I used for the sky. It might have been Pan Pastel. Oh yeah, it is Pan Pastel and the color of the sunrise. The clouds are actually acrylic marker. But yeah. And then this page, same thing. Pencil, little bit of Posca on the dandelions, the little star. There's a star in every single page, every image in this book. I just did with a little bit of gold, super golden marker, I think. But yeah, so that one. And then this was the first page I did in this book. And I had originally done same thing, pencil, went over the pencil with water-based marker, with clean color marker. I don't like the moth. It's just too dark, but it's whatever. Yeah, and then, so I had done the border all with black acrylic marker, and it was just way too dark. So then I went back and I added this gray, and then a little bit darker gray, and then left the remainder of the black. So that's how that turned out. But yeah. So that one and Shooting Star. And then in Fairy Tales and Folklore, I did the nameplate page with pretty much all acrylic markers. I think it was a combination of these pens and these pens. So it's a mixture of both. And maybe some Posca here and there. But whenever I really need opacity, I do use the Posca pens, but they just don't have the range of colors that I like. So that's why I was really happy to come across these. So yeah, thanks to Connie at the Coloring Chemist. Anyway, this is where I sort of was just playing around with blending those paint pens, trying to blend them in the flowers, and while it was still wet, and I was able to get some pretty good blending. But yeah, so this book is pretty fun for that pen to pen technique too, because of the way it's drawn. Like, you can get some really interesting effects in the leaves and flowers. I think I'm gonna do a couple more pages in here very soon. Anyway, so this is a very mixed media page. The water is Neocolor 2. The foliage down here is acrylic marker. The octopus is Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencil, and the dots are acrylic pen. And then I circled each one. I outlined each dot with a super golden marker. The flowers are all water-based marker. The houses are colored pencil. Colored pencil, colored pencil. The clouds are all colored pencil. So, yeah. Anyway, so there's that one. And then this one is all acrylic marker done pen to pen for the blending. And it does work pretty well. So the color choices that I made were very subtle, so they're not like real dramatic blends like yellow to green or whatever. They were like a dark pink to a light pink. So yeah, anyway, so it's not like really striking the gradation, but and then I just outlined all of the lines in the bird with some kind of jelly roll, like glitter pen or something. So yeah. And then Circle of Life, I have basically dismantled my whole Circle of Life book because the pages seem to sort of come out on their own a little bit. So I decided rather than trying to keep them in the book while I'm working on pages, I'm just going to tear them out. So anyway, eventually maybe I'll put them back in order in a binder or something. But yeah, so I did this page using that tip to tip method with all clean color markers, with the exception of the body of the bird. He's all done in acrylic ink. And then over that, I did some dragonfly glaze in the violet, blue, green shift. And then over that, I did a gray jelly roll gel pen to draw in the feathers. So yeah. Oh, and the moths are done with gel pen, I think. Water-based marker, and then outline to basically remove the black lines with gel pen. That's what I did. Yeah. And there's some glaze pen in there too. Anyway, and then this one, again, pen to pen blending with water-based marker on all of the foliage and the branch, and then I just blended on the paper with water-based marker for the chameleon, and then went back in with some kind of gold marker, probably, you know, super gold marker, and just added gold, like, highlights throughout the body of the chameleon. Oh, I did a green glaze pen over some of the leaves. So, yeah. So that one. And then the last three are, well, this one is a Korean book. And it's just beautiful images. I'm sure most of you have seen this book. If anybody has this book and yours like cracked right down the middle when you went to crack the spine, I'd love to know, because I have seen at least one other person who had the same issue with this particular book. I'd like to know how many people have had that problem with this book, because it was kind of annoying. So I'm going to take this book apart. I'm going to trim the, trim each of the pages and put them in a binder, because this is just, it is so ugly. I've even tried re-gluing it, like dismantled it, re-glued it. You can see there's my attempt at fixing it. Anyway, because I do know about book binding, and this was not done well. Let's just put it that way. I think that the glue just failed. Anyway, so I'm not here to complain. But, you'd think that it would hold up, because I've never had that happen before. Anyway, so this is the only pages I've done in here, and this was basically just my, let's see how this goes. Yeah, so I did this girl, and these are just the pages in the back that have just a really small little example. Yeah, but I think I did a pretty good job. mixing or matching the colors and the shading and all that kind of stuff. So it was really fun. I mean, I had never done this before in a coloring book where, you know, you have the little image and then, you know, so this was my first attempt at that, and I think I did pretty well. So, yeah. And then, excuse me, and then I did this book, Jardin en fleurs, Sonia Cavallini. I have a couple other pages marked in here that I really like to do. Excuse me for coughing, you guys. So this is done mostly with watercolor. And if anybody would like to see like the watercolors that I like to use, or, you know, that kind of thing, maybe my watercolor collection or something, I would totally do that. But this is a good example of where I've used masking fluid on a coloring book, because I masked off pretty much all of the details in this book, in this page. So like I masked off all the flowers, I masked off this trellis and the roses, masked off all of the leaves and the trees. Yeah, and then did my color washes, and then strategically came back, removed masking fluid as I went, and added color then to the rest of it. So it's kind of done like in layers, and it's a really good way to use masking fluid. It is a good tool when you're doing stuff like this, where there's a lot of details, and you want to work all like in watercolor or something like that. So anyway, so I did this page. Oh, the stones were actually a stencil that I have. So because the image that you get to color, it doesn't have those details. So I just, rather than freehand drawing them, I just used a stencil. So same with these stones. No, that's I'm lying. Those stones were there. So yeah, I can see the black lines. Anyway, yeah, so that. And then basically lastly is in Ken Matsuda's coloring book, and all I've done is the like introduction page, yeah, and just super inspired by Spare Room Studio, by her work in this particular book. I'm inspired by her anyway, so, you know, in general, but particularly in this book, I just love the way she interprets these images. So anyway, so it's just played, and I used I think I used mostly my water-based markers. I'm really loving the clean color brush markers, super fun. But I think in the background I did some other type of watercolor, can't remember, and some splashing, some spatter and that kind of thing. So, and then came back with some metallic highlights here and there. Okay. Now I have been working in, I'm not gonna go through it, but I've also been working in Wilderdorn, and I have a couple two, almost 4 completed pages in Wilderdorn, but I think what I'm going to do is a separate like series of videos to sort of document my progress through this book, because I'm doing it cover to cover, and I'm really just trying to get my footing in it, and yeah, so I've made some mistakes, and you know, that's fine. You got to learn how to correct mistakes. Like, basically I messed up some stuff, but you know, it is what it is. I do have 2 copies of this book, so you know, I might be able to actually do 2 of them, but you never know. Anyway, so I think I'll do a separate video of the work I've done in Wildergorn. I'll just give you a little sneak. This is the page I'm working on right now. So, yeah. It's pretty intense. It's pretty incredible. It's a beautiful coloring book. Anyway, so I'm going to do that because I want to keep this video to a reasonable length because I have a really hard time with uploading anything that like comes close to an hour. So anyway, so those are my completed pages for January and February of 2025. Okay? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you have not already subscribed. I could really use the subscribers, just saying. And I'll leave appropriate links in the description. Okay? All right, guys. And if you have questions, just leave a comment and I'll answer them. I promise. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.